You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back once again. Time to dive into the realm of all things crypto. Yes, it is time once again for the Crypto Rundown. My name, of course, Mark Longo from the THE OptionsInsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you folks have been mainlining these days. You know, if you're into crypto, certainly if you're into crypto, you've been exposed to futures at this point. Well, then the Futures Rundown is indeed for you. It's our latest addition to the network. You folks have been loving it. So happy to see so many folks having such a good response. And of course, Bitcoin futures, ETH futures, a lot of futures popping up in the crypto space these days. So if you're intrigued by crypto, if you're crypto curious, you probably should be futures curious then. So you should be checking out the latest addition to the network. Only one place to get it all. Wherever you're getting the Crypto Rundown, make sure you upgrade to the full network out there. Just search for Options Insider Radio Network. That will get you all of our on-demand shows, pretty much nearly a dozen of those coming at you these days, including OBC Options Bootcamp. Great educational show for all you folks out there who are maybe still new to this options thing, dipping your toes in the options waters. Check out the full network. And of course, if you want even more content in your lives, including 2 shows that do dovetail into the realm of crypto quite a bit these days, then head on over to theoptionsinsider.com/pro. That'll get you access, of course, to our awesome pro Q&A sessions where you can take the reins and ask your questions. You drive the ship, picking the brains of some of the best in the world of options and derivatives, and indeed crypto out there these days as well. And of course, awesome Options Oddities episodes at the end of every week to look back on the mad trades that we did and the mad trades that we've been tracking and scanning and analyzing for you out there on usual activity front. All things unusual activity on Options Oddities. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro is the place to go as I keep on going right on into the Bitcoin breakdown.
It's time to explore the latest trending activity, trends, and developments across the world's leading crypto market. It's time for the Bitcoin Breakdown.
All right, listeners, let's get to it. Let's dive into a little bit of the old Bitcoin breakdown. As you'll recall, we were off for the Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day holiday last week. So no show last week. So we got to go back 2 weeks to see how much we moved. And man, you know, Bitcoin's done a lot of living since the last time we were live here on the old crypto rundown. Coming in to start the show north of 67K, 67,156 to be precise. That's a wee bit north of where we were this time 2 weeks ago, 63,340. It's up nearly 4,000 handles, 3816 to be precise. So quite the run, quite the lift. Of course, it is not the sum total of the movement we've seen over the past couple of weeks. No, we got all the way up to threatening 70K. Not quite there, but pretty darn close. 6912 roughly is where I show it topping out. Of course, it's going to vary depending on the venue you're looking at, but just a wee bit north of 69K. That came just actually yesterday, just on Sunday out there. So once again, we're seeing the highs and the lows popping off in the illiquid sessions on the weekends. The low this time coming during the week on October 10th, almost breaking 60K. So a lot of living we've done over the span since our last couple of shows. Almost threatening to break 60K in the wrong direction, got to 62.76. Of course, threatening 70K, 69.12. Quite the range settling in right now as we're kicking off the show. 67,156 listeners. In terms of vol, we have done a lot of living since our last show, but we're kind of settling in now. So it seems like vol is settling in as well. Weekly vol, pretty close to where we were this time 2 weeks ago. We were at 44.25 this time 2 weeks ago. Coming in to start the show today, 44.60. So again, up about a third of a point. Not really a huge move on the weekly vol front. If we go out to a more standardized vol metric, if we go out a full month, that's also kind of treading water from where we were 2 weeks ago as well. We were at 53.40 on the show this time 2 weeks ago, 54.10 today. So up 0.7 of a point. Again, really, in the Bitcoin vol spectrum, pretty much a rounding error. And hanging out 6 months, actually coming in a little bit. We had the vol 57.5 this time 2 weeks ago. Today, 56.5. So hodlers holding a little bit less, perhaps, this week. Let's go out to the Skew front, listeners, see what's cooking out there. Is it the same story? That answer is no, which, again, isn't entirely surprising. We have seen a big upside move over the past week and change, so probably going to see some of that still reflected in the Skew, and that is the case. The weekly Skew was pretty much flat on our show 2 weeks ago, positive 0.3, which in my book is flat. Coming into the start of the show now, of course, we did just see the big sell-off since yesterday to today as well. 69 down to about 67,000. So that's why our near-dated Skew is negatively biased right now, negative 2.5. So sliding to the negative. Of course, if you go over to Amber Data, listeners, you could find the evolution of the Skew for the last couple of weeks there, listening. You can see the exact apex and the nadir out there for the Skew as well. Going out to a more standardized Skew metric, again, 30-day Skew, that's still looking a little bit bullish. We were almost at a 0.1, or almost at a positive one, I should say, on the show this time 2 weeks ago, 0.85 to be precise. And this show coming in about a little north of 4, about 4 1/3. So again, still looking biased to the upside on the monthly Skew. And going out 6 months, that's coming in a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Almost a 6 on the show 2 weeks ago, which is pretty frothy for longer-term Skew. About a 5.7. Giving some of that back this week, almost a 1.5. It's at a 4 1/4 right now. So intriguing evolution on the Skew front out there. Again, we've had nearly 9,000 handle range since our last show, so bound to leave some ripples and some reverberations in the Skew, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We're also seeing our old pal Bitto net up since our last show. Perhaps not up as much as you might have assumed, given all the movements out there, which again comes back to the notion of some people taking issue with Bitto for perhaps not tracking as well as they would hope. I mean, it does offset a lot of that with that, some might say, ridiculous dividend. But outside of that, intriguing there. It's at a 19 even as we kicked off the show, up almost a full point, about 0.9 of a point out there. The ADV is 131. That's coming roaring back to life. Yeah, it's up about 39,000 from where we were this time 2 weeks ago, listeners. So obviously, Bitto and all things crypto related getting a nice lift on the volume front as well over the last couple of weeks. Coming into the start of the show, there weren't that many contracts on the tape, only about closing on a little bit north of 70,000. Let's see where we're hanging out right now. It's like a few more have popped off since we've been talking here, up to about 96,000. Still a way to go to hit that newly lofty ADV, but this is already north of where we were 2 weeks ago. So, hot day out there, all things considered, in BitO land. The vol right now at 59 in BitO. 30-day vol puts it down 3 points from where it was this time 2 weeks ago. In terms of action out there today, looks like it's the 18.5 puts expiring this week on the 25th, going up about 13,000 times. Looks like that's opening out there, so a decent amount of paper. And then 19.5 calls going up today as well, about 9,000 times. So it doesn't quite line up for a call. It looks like paper we're selling the 18.5 puts for 14 cents. And then we have the 19.5 calls. Let's see where those went up. Those went up for 23 cents. So if you did want to do the risk reversal, sell put and buy call, it was going to cost you 9 cents for a $1 wide risk reversal. Well, that's interesting. Bullish risk reversal. Typically, that's leaning kind of the opposite of the way the skew tends to be biased. Skew is usually bid to the upside and offered to the puts. So if you're selling the puts and buying the calls, you're kind of doing a little bit of the wrong way. But if you want a bullish position, express a little bit of bullish outlook on BitO, there are certainly worse ways to do it out here. Let's look and see what else we have going on out here. Yeah, it looks like a lot of 18 puts going up today as well for 7 cents, all expiring this week. So a lot of very near-dated paper out here in BitO. In terms of size, positions that are open right now, that's the opposite. That's going longer term out to Jan. 110,000 at the Jan 30s, 82,000 at the Jan 35s. That's been pretty much the same at this point since time immemorial. We won't see those change until January, I don't think. And then we'll get a nice little run. Speaking of nice little runs, BitX, our levered Bitcoin friend, looking a little bit frothier this week as well. 31 as we kicked off the show, up about 2 3/4. Looks like it's run even more. It's up to 31.65 since we started the show. So already on a nice little run out there. The ADV is 25,000 contracts a day now. It's up 6,000 from where it was this time 2 weeks ago. Already 28,000 contracts on the tape today. So BitX lighting it up a little bit out there today as well. Let's see what folks are up to out there. Looks like we have about 2,300 of the 35 calls, again expiring this week, and 2,200 of the 32 half calls, all expiring this week, all going up today. 32 half calls went up for $1.05. Looks like paper mostly sold those. 35s, let's see really quickly here. Listen, there we go. They went for 40 cents. Looks like paper probably buying those. So intriguing, not a spread, just adjacent paper, shall we say. Vol 108 down about a point, so kind of treading water on the vol front. The big position out here, still those Jan 70 puts, 70,000. Jan of 2026, I should add, 70 puts. Intriguing stuff out there. Let's go out to everyone's favorite. It's been so active of late that it's even making its way onto our option block show right now, hitting our top 10 most actives, and that appears to be the case again today. It was in there this morning when we ran the option block a little over an hour ago, and lighting it up again right now. This is Mara, was at an 18 even as we kicked off the show, up 210. It's now at about an 1860, so up 270 almost since our last show. So interesting. The ADV 243,000, it's up 46,000 from this time 2 weeks ago, and already at 230 today. So Mara on the rampage out there today. The big dog, about 24,000 of the 20 calls, again expiring this week. So a lot of near-dated paper. We're at 1860 right now. So 20 calls. Worth noting, there is some OI there, so they could be closing. They traded for prices, looks like around 18 to 23 cents. Interesting listening. The big dog out there are the Jan 30s, about 40,000 of those bad boys. So we're looking not that great. Looking a little better, obviously, this week as we keep on rolling to explore the altcoin universe.
It's time to move beyond Bitcoin and find out what's moving the rest of the crypto marketplace. It's time to boldly venture into the altcoin universe.
All right, everybody, let's do it. Let's go explore the altcoin universe, see what's popping off out there. Interestingly enough, we have seen a nice run in Bitcoin since our last episode 2 weeks ago, so you might be forgiven for expecting the rising tide to lift all boats and for the cost to break into the top 10 from a market cap perspective to also go up. And yet we were at about 13.3 billion to break into the top 10 2 weeks ago. Today, 13.2. So we're actually ticking down a little bit, which is kind of interesting. Either way, it gets us to the same players. In fact, I'm looking at the bottom half of our top 10. Yeah, no changes player-wise. Number 10 is still our old pal Toncoin. Again, 13.2 billion worth of market cap right now. So actually down over the last couple of weeks, which is interesting. Tron coming in at number 9, 13.6, almost 13.7 billion. Number 8, everybody's favorite. It's Dogecoin, 20.75 billion worth of market cap. Number 7 is XRP, almost 31 billion worth of market cap. Number 6, USD Coin, 34.75. Number 5, it's Solana, 77.6 billion worth of market cap. Number 4, it's BNB, 87 billion. Number 3 is Tether, because of course it is, 120 billion. Number 2, it's ETH, 320 billion. And the big dog, Bitcoin, 1.326 trillion with a T out there, listener. So hot stuff. Let's see what's hot in the world of the number 2 crypto asset. Of course, we're talking about ETH. 24.56 on our last show 2 weeks ago. 26.62 this week, up a whopping 206 handles on the week. Like Bitcoin's had a wider range since then, of course. The high coming yesterday again as well. 27.47 for ETH. Yesterday, the low came on Wednesday, October 9th, so a day before Bitcoin hit its low. 23.68, so a pretty wide range out there. Not quite 400 handles, but pretty darn close. But as we're settling in right now, it seems like ETH vol also kind of settling in as well. It was on the weekly front, was a 51 even this time 2 weeks ago. Kicking off the show today at a 51.80, so not even a full point to the upside. 30-day vol, same deal, kind of treading water. 60.5 on the show 2 weeks ago, 60.9 right now. And the 6-month vol, 64.1 2 weeks ago, 63.4 right now. So vol kind of treading water out there in ETH land. Is that the same deal on the Skew front? The answer is no. We're looking a little bit more bullish than we were 2 weeks ago. The weekly Skew 2 weeks ago, negative 2.5. This week, positive 2.1. So swinging nearly 5 points to the upside over the intervening 2 weeks. Monthly Skew, negative 1 on the show 2 weeks ago, positive 3. So swinging 4 points to the upside this week. And the 6-month Skew also looking a little bit frothier. 3 points to the upside this time 2 weeks ago, 4.4 today. So taking a 1.5 almost to the upside out here. Let's run through some of the rest of the altcoin universe, and we'll get out of here for this Just the Facts, ma'am, edition this week, listeners. Let's go out to Solana. Had a nice run since our last show. 148, pretty much even on the show 2 weeks ago. 165.31 on the show this week, so up almost 17.33 points. So nice little run for Solana. XRP, as you expect right now, pretty much treading water. 54.1 cents 2 weeks ago, 54.6 cents, up a whopping half cent. If past is prologue, it will give that right back up. But I suppose XRP fans can hold out hope. Doge, this is why it's climbing on the market cap ranks, at least in terms of overall market cap. Listen, not really changing its ranking yet. 11.1 cents 2 weeks ago, 14.1, up a whopping 3 cents in Doge. That is nothing to sneeze at. Litecoin, 65.61 2 weeks ago, 70.87 this week, up about 5.25. Cardano, 35.5 cents last week, 35.6 cents this week, so a whole lot of nothing there. Polkadot, 4.22 2 weeks ago, 4.35 this week, so up about 13 cents. Everyone's favorite, Shiba Inu, a million zeros, 1804 2 weeks ago. This week, 1834. So slowly crawling its way towards the Shiba Lambos, listeners. All right, everybody. That music means we've come to the end of this Just the Facts, ma'am, edition of the Crypto Rundown. But don't worry, we'll be back again tomorrow with even more great content. If you got some crypto questions, join us on the Pro, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. You can ask them yourself. We have a lot of our listeners who do that, though. If you want to dive in and listen to those, you can also go check out the 150 or so we've already done, where you can listen to us and indeed our members picking the brains, some of the best minds in the world of options and derivatives. You can play along, theoptionsinsider.com/pro, the place to go to join us tomorrow. Of course, back again on Wednesday for our newest doubleheader. It is, of course, Options Bootcamp for your educational needs, followed by the Futures Rundown, where we break down everything lighting it up in the world of futures. So what's going to make it? It could be energy, could be metals, could be cash-settled cheese. You don't know, listeners. So have to tune in every week. I don't even know until we crunch the numbers. That's kind of the fun of that show. We also tackle questions and a lot of education. It's been a fascinating run so far. And I'm not just saying that. I'm hearing from you folks out there as well. And I'm seeing the numbers. You folks are responding. Apparently you needed a futures show in your life. We are happy to deliver. Thursday, of course, the option block, and this week in futures options. Another show which, if you're crypto curious, we do delve into those waters on this week in futures options. Friday, volatility views. And then we're off for the weekend until we're back again next Monday. Another episode of the Crypto Rundown. Stay safe out there, everybody.
The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.